How's it going, all you mentees? Uncanny Omar here from Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions. And today, I've got a brand new Marvel Omnibus. Is it brand new? Well, let's find out together. Regardless, coming out in September of 2025. So let's check out what the book is. This video is sponsored by Marvel Comics, so thank you so much to David Gabriel and the fine folks at Marvel for sending us advance notice of this book that is coming out in September. Before I go any further, please don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications. That helps with our videos here on YouTube and definitely helps with the algorithm. And thank you to all of you that have shared our videos. Stay away from the comments, if you want to be surprised what the book is. And this does come as a big surprise. For the last couple of years, I do it's been 6 years coming in 2025 that we've done a Marvel reprint poll. And we let you all, the viewers, vote for what gets reprinted. I put all the books that are out of print, and you all vote for the books you want reprinted. I send the list to Marvel of the top 20, 25 sometimes, and my goodness, they have reprinted 99% of everything we wanted. A couple of years ago, I started to suggest things like, hey, why don't we do Inferno? It'd be great to have it in omnibus format. Or things like Fall of the Mutants or the prologue to Inferno. And they did. It was great. Then I decided, I'm going to let the viewers vote for things. So what I do is I let the viewers vote for the oversized hardcovers that are out of print. We got Extinction Agenda. And what they did was put Days of Future Present, or rather Days of Future Past over size hardcover with the Extinction Agenda. I made it into one, and you all voted for it, and Marvel did it! Like, we got the Extinction Agenda Omnibus, it's right behind me! And for the last couple of years, you all wanted the Executioner song in Bishop's Crossing put together in the OHCs. And it is. And that's why it's new and old, because we'll look at the mapping here in a second. But coming out in September of 2025, you all voted for it. It's my absolute pleasure to announce X-Men Blue and Gold Mutant Genesis Omnibus. Now, let's first take a look at our standard edition cover. And this standard edition cover is, of course, supplied by Jim Lee. Hey. And there was a reason why I was wearing my Jim Lee tie. Little bit of a hint, sometimes I do it. So let's go ahead and take a look at the content together. So collected in here is Adjectiveless X-Men 1 through 16, X-Men Annual Number 1, Uncanny X-Men 281 to 297, Uncanny X-Men Annual 16, Ghost Rider 26 through 27, X-Factor 84 and 86, X-Force 16 and 18, Strife Strike Files Number 1, material from X-Factor Annual Number 7, X-Force Annual Number 1, Marvel Comics Presents 89, and X-Men Odd Man Out, the one-shot, which to me is, I'll talk more about that here in a little bit. But what I want to go ahead and say, this is putting everything from Bishop's Crossing and from Executioner's Song together. So you do have the entirety of Executioner's Song, which is great because that material is not collected in the X-Force Annual or Omnibus Volume 1, which was just reprinted. But it has more. And it has Adjectiveless X-Men 1 through 16. So there is some double dipping if you have like the X-Men by Claremont Volume 2, Jim Lee and Chris Claremont Volume 2, that collects Adjectiveless X-Men 1 through 9, 10 through 11, and then Ghost Rider 26 and 27. But it also collects other things like the X-Factor Endgame story and Uncanny X-Men The Muir Island saga. So there's a little bit of double dipping there. And the X-Men Shattershot. But the Shattershot story, this is really cool. It really depends on how this is mapped. The Shattershot story actually took place during this time. And if you look at this Shattershot oversized hardcover, I will do a separate video on all this, by the way, even before I do the overview of the book, because it can get a little bit confusing, and that's why I love doing reading orders. But that Shattershot oversized hardcover, that storyline really didn't take place during that time, because those issues are like Adjectiveless X-Men 17 through 24 and Uncanny X-Men, I think it just had the Annual Number 16. It took place during this time. So it's going to be really interesting to see where they map it. But regardless, rest assured, it is the two oversized hardcovers that have been out of print that you all voted for together and other stories. So let's go ahead and look at our direct market cover. And the direct market cover is supplied by Jim Lee. And that is the final issue of Chris Claremont on Adjectiveless X-Men before he ended up leaving the book. So Bishop's Crossing, introducing the character of Bishop, and you've got Executioner's Song, the big crossover between the 4 titles that is putting Cable against Strife, and then of course Cyclops, Jean Grey, and Professor X, and all of the X characters getting caught in that crossfire. Those stories have been collected in oversized hardcover before, as well as the other Adjectiveless X-Men and Ghost Rider book. The editions of the Marvel Comics Presents 89, I want to say that is probably the Mojo story that also has Major Domo and Spiral, and then of course some of the X-Men. I think that's the story in there. I can't imagine them collecting Blood Hungry in there. And then of course, the one that took me by surprise, X-Men Odd Man Out, because that book came out in 2008. But it's stories by Dave Cockrum that were never published. So that's really cool that it is finally collected somewhere. And you get the entirety of Uncanny X-Men Annual 18 and X-Men Annual number 1. And just, of course, material from X-Factor Annual 7 and X-Force Annual 1. Just, I'm assuming, the Shattershot storylines. And again, you know, depending on how they map the next book, Shattershot, the stuff in there like Uncanny Annual 2 and Adjectiveless X-Men 17 through 24, that can be collected all in that. But this looks like it's following more of the epic mapping because you're putting both of the teams, the creation of the gold and the blue team, in here. Let me know in the comments down below if you are going to pick this up in case you missed out on Executioner's Song and on Bishop's Crossing and you've been waiting for those books to be reprinted. If you already have the Jim Lee X-Men Omnibus Volume 2, but you're still going to pick this up because you're missing those 2 other stories. And then, of course, you know, are you interested in the Shattershot and how you want the X-Men to be collected during this time? Do you want them to continue collecting X-Men like this with Adjectiveless X-Men and Uncanny both in the same omnibus? But that is your announcement for this round. You all voted for it and Marvel listened. So big thank you to Marvel, David Gabriel, everyone over there for making this happen. And of course, a big thank you to all of you. Hit that like button on the way out. I'm out of here. Everyone stay healthy and safe out there. Much love.